What's cracking, guys? Omar Isaf here, back with another video. In this video today, talking about everyone's favorite topic, squats. Oh yeah, another squat video. Sit your ass down. This one's different though because, you know, I talk a whole lot about squat mechanics. That's because there's probably the most amount of variation of any lift when it comes to the squat. But the question that is going to be answered in this video is the following. Are squats the king of all lower body exercises? And I have a very special guest in this video today. Dr. Bret Contreras, aka the Ass Master, and I'm joking but also half serious when I say this. Essentially his PhD was in studying the glutes, but he's going to break down what the squat actually targets, and I think this is really important because, well, there are, you know, bodybuilders that train a variety of different muscles. There are also those that are kind of strength, what I like to call minimalists, and I've seen a lot of, for lack of a better word, kind of crappy programs where they don't effectively train all the areas of the lower body, right? And one of them would definitely be a program where it's just like, you know, all you need, bro, squats build everything. Bret Contreras is going to talk about this, whether or not that is true. Keep in mind that, like myself, he's highly interested in increasing his strength. He does squats all the time, so he's just trying to provide the evidence for everyone out there if you're wondering why maybe your legs aren't growing optimally. So keep an open mind. This is taking a look at the research. If you want to see more from Dr. Bret Contreras on this channel, make sure to like the damn video and leave a comment below what you want to see next, because he is very intelligent. He has a lot to offer, and I think we could have some very cool topics, maybe going more in depth on certain things. So without further ado, I'll let him do the talking.
Unless you've been living in a cave, and you've probably heard that the back squat is the king of all exercises. But is it really the king of all exercises? And if so, what muscles is it king of? So first, let's discuss the vasties. So vasties are right here. In all of my EMG experiments, as well as all of the research that I've seen, whenever there's a study that looks at EMG activity or even muscle growth of the vasties, where squats are compared to like leg extensions or leg press or even lunges, squats come out at the top. So squats are indeed the best vasties exercise out there. So they are the king of the vasties. Now let's discuss the rectus femoris. The quadriceps consist of the rectus femoris and the vasties, but the rectus femoris is also a hip flexor. So for that reason, you do not use the rec fem that much in a squat. The reason why is it's a hip flexor. When you come up in a squat, you're creating hip extension. If you use the rec fem a lot, it would pull you into hip flexion and the glutes would have to do more. So it's a poor strategy to use the rectus femoris in a squat. Therefore, the squat is not a good rectus femoris exercise, and if you want to max out your rectus femoris hypertrophy, you need to do leg extensions because that's been shown to have the highest EMG out of all the different quadriceps exercises. All right, now let's talk hammies. When you descend in a squat, you are in deep hip and knee flexion. When you come out of a squat, you come out, you are creating hip and knee extension. The hamstrings do extend the hip, but they also flex the knee. So if you were to use a lot of hamstring to extend the hip, it would also pull back on the tibia and create knee flexion, and then the quads would have to do more. So for that reason, the squat is not a very good hamstring exercise, and that's why you see low hamstring activity in a squat, because if you did activate it highly, the quads would have to do more and you'd be fighting against your own body. So for this reason, the squat is not that good of a hamstring exercise, and if you want to maximize your hamstring muscle growth, you need to do other exercises like lying leg curls, seated leg curls, stability ball leg curls, RDLs, glute ham raises, Nordic ham curls. Those will help you maximize hypertrophy of the hamstrings. Now let's talk adductors. All right, the adductor magnus especially, but all the adductors at the bottom of a squat actually produce hip extension. So for this reason, a lot of powerlifters and bodybuilders get muscular adductors just from squatting. But can you maximize hypertrophy of the adductors through squatting alone? Probably not, because EMG activity shows higher activity when you do the adduction exercises, the seated hip adduction machine, compared to squatting. So although the squat is a decent adductor exercise, you probably need to be throwing in seated hip adduction in order to maximize your hypertrophy of the adductors. And last but not least, let's discuss glutes. The squat is a good glute exercise. When you come down in a squat, you load them up eccentrically, you stretch them, and then you power out of the hole, and max glute activation occurs right around here, a little bit above parallel. And then as you come up, it gets easier and easier on the hips, and right here, you don't really need to use the glutes much. Now, there are reasons why you need to be incorporating variety if you want to maximize your glute hypertrophy. First of all, squats mainly activate the lower gluteus maximus, but there's also an upper gluteus maximus subdivision, and then there's the glute medius and minimus. If you want to maximize the upper glutes, meaning the upper gluteus maximus, glute medius and minimus, you need to be doing hip thrust or back extension exercise, and then also a frontal plane hip abduction exercise, meaning this motion right here. So, exercises that work this motion are sideline hip abduction, standing hip abduction with either a cable or an ankle weight, or just these lateral band walking movements. So that'll maximize upper glute development. For lower glute development, squats and lunges work well, but you also want to be doing hip thrusts and back extensions. And the reason why is maximum glute activity occurs right here at end range hip extension. So this lockout position is where you get you get double the glute activity right here as you can when you're stretched down here. So right here, you want to be doing exercises that stress this position. So therefore, throw in your hip thrust, throw in your heavy back extensions, and that'll help you maximize glute activity. So in summary, the squat is probably the king of all exercises. It's the most hardcore movement. It builds giant quads. It's a great overall lower body exercise, but it will not maximize hypertrophy of most of your lower body muscles. It probably maximizes vastus lateralis and vastus medialis and vastus intermedius hypertrophy, but it's not going to maximize rectus femoris, hamstring, adductor, or glute hypertrophy. So for this reason, you want to be throwing in leg extensions. You want to be throwing in lying leg curls, glute ham raises, Nordic ham curls, RDLs. You want to be throwing in the seated hip adduction machine. You want to be doing hip abduction exercises, and you want to be doing hip thrusts and back extensions. And this is just common sense. If you follow, the top bodybuilders, they always do variety. They don't just do one exercise. Athletes don't do that. Powerlifters don't do that. Bikini competitors don't do that. So squat, definitely do the squat, but also make sure you're doing more variety.
Well guys, that is the video. My thanks to Bret for doing the video. I'm going to link his website, which has a ton of great articles, in the description. Keep that in mind, like he was saying. The squats are phenomenal. You should definitely be squatting, but you shouldn't only be squatting. And I know that sounds obvious, but things like trying to target your hamstrings via, Romanian deadlifts, and the same idea when it comes to glutes with hip thrusts. If you don't mix it up, if you don't add variation, much like he said when it comes to bodybuilders, why they always do that, you won't maximize muscular growth. And that is also important when it comes to strength. So guys, that's it. That's all the time we have. If you like the video, make sure to like the damn video, and I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Peace.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.